To our next, please.
Hello, my name is Afifah Hamilton. Should publishers, such as the Oxford University Press, be warning authors of children's books to avoid mention of pork products, even though pork is a cultural norm to the majority of Britons? It is
the Oxford University Press, and this is a point that was picked up by the Today programme by Jim Nocte. It was a letter sent out by the press to an author writing for young people, and the text, among other things, that is prohibited in the text commission was pigs, plus anything that could be perceived as pork. What do you make of that? Norman Baker?
It sounds like unnecessary self-censorship and people being oversensitive about matters, to be honest with you. This sounds like another edition of Winterval and the issue about whether we could talk about Christmas or not. I'm quite clear that it's almost as continuous as the last question, actually, about the right to free speech. If we're going to defend the right to free speech, as we all have been doing in the light of those terrible events in France, we can't then censor ourselves as to what we can and can't say. So I think the Oxford University Press has hopelessly overreacted to a situation.
The OUP defends its view on the grounds that it lives in a market. They sell to 150 companies and they want to sell their books. You believe strongly in the market, so perhaps on those grounds do they have a justification for saying no mention of pork?
I mean, if that's what they want to do, if it's a private entity and that's how they think they're going to go, well, it's up to them. I don't think government should go and interfere, of course. But I think it's absolutely ludicrous. And I'll let Sadiq answer when he gets his chance. But I'm sure this is exactly the sort of thing that Muslims never asked for. They never said anything. No. They never demanded anything like that. Right. And yet some do-gooders would come and suggest that that's what we should do. I don't know if everyone here... I don't know if everyone here is familiar with the Fox News Facts hashtag that happened. Everyone, so I'm not going to waste time explaining it. But I think some journalists had suggested that, well, following that logic, Birmingham's no longer called Birmingham. It's actually called Birmingham because ham is offensive to Muslims. How could you possibly call it that? It's ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous.
Is she right, Sadiq?
Well, look, for the avoidance of doubt, my children sang Bar Bar Black Sheep, I don't mind. We wish Merry Christmas to people who are Christians, we don't mind. And we even visit pubs and not necessarily drink, but we don't want to ban pubs and stuff. And I think...
You say not necessarily drink. That leaves open an option, Sadiq.
Jonathan, my mum might be listening. So, can I just say this? I mean, I think Dia's right in the sense that if the Oxford University Press, for commercial reasons, want to sell these books in a market where they think they might lead to them not being as popular, that's for Oxford University Press to decide. But, can I just say, political correctness is a good thing when it's used properly. So, for example, I think it's right and appropriate that words that begin with N that are racially abusive or P or Y for various communities aren't used. That's political correctness is a good thing. I think it's a good thing that there isn't sexism in the workplace. That is accused PC. But when things like this happen under the guise of political correctness, frankly speaking, it sends chills down the spines of British Muslims who have friends, who have neighbours, who work with colleagues, who, eat pork and who eat ham, and the impression is given that we're all somehow want to be isolated, want to be cut off from the rest of you. Can I just reassure you, we don't.
Francis Moore.
Well, I hadn't heard this story, and it's one of the weirdest things I've ever come across. I suppose it's always said that Oxford is the home of lost causes, and if ever there's a lost cause, this is it. Sadiq is absolutely right. A lot of people moan about a lot of political correctness is just being polite and respectful of others, and we should not demean that. That's important and good. But I do actually recall a few Christmases ago, perhaps rather sadly, I only got 2 texts on Christmas Day wishing me happy Christmas, and they were both from Muslim friends.
How many did you get wishing me an unhappy? Oh, sorry. Would you like to come back in on this?
The longer I stay in Whitehall, the more I get.
Exactly. Afifah Hamilton, you put the question. Your own comment.
Well, I think it's quite a pernicious situation whereby minorities or sensitivity to the ideas that the majority think that minorities must have, end up becoming a kind of influence on the majority, which is quite ridiculous. I happen to also be, on another aspect of this, I'm a food science researcher, and I happen to know that pork is an extremely nutritious food, and if the pigs are reared outdoors, their fat has vitamin D in. So we should be encouraging the use of the pig, which is a deeply strengthened tradition in the English and European world, and all of much of Asia. China eats a lot of pig. So, it's not a food to put to one side as though it's not good for anyone. It's just a religious admonition from an era that is past.
Thank you very much.